Hi, my name is Bertrand Hamel. With Chris, who's to my right, and Frank, to my left, we're going to demonstrate an exercise called the Power of the Dragon, or Qi Kung of Inner Peace. This implies 5 branches, 5 different processes leading to a neutral state, which raise us to a state of peace and overall well-being. We begin with a position which is called the crow. The crow position enables balancing our brain's right and left hemispheres and awakening the vital fluid which circulates within us. We're going to look for the center, the point of equilibrium, the center of gravity, the neutral point in which we can find a state of inner peace or well-being. I push my hands in towards my knees. My knees are resting on my elbows. And I'm going to try to displace my center of gravity until I'm balanced in the crow position. Now, I'm going to come down from this position. I'm going to put my heels back on the ground. My arms remain on the inside of my knees. My hands, as if praying, are going to let me work isometrically, because my knees are resting on my elbows and my elbows are resting on my knees. This way, I can exert contrary forces in 2 directions, thereby working the muscles in my lower body. The most important part of this exercise is feeling our spine move and vibrate. To do so, I'm going to turn my fingertips in towards my chest. I'm going to lower my head and chin to my chest. I'm going to start to feel my spine, and this will let me fully stretch my entire spinal column. Each time I press my knees and my elbows against each other, I'll feel the point in which my spine vibrates. I do this many times, inhaling and exhaling slowly. Now, very slowly, we turn our fingertips back towards the ground, and I'm going to turn my head to the left. Once again, I touch my chin to my chest, and I turn my head towards the right. I do this several times at my own pace. Once I feel warmed up, I return my hands to a praying position, directing my fingers towards my chest. I press my knees hard against my elbows, and very gently I relax my hands and head. The moment my head is relaxed, I'm going to feel my hands raise up on their own. I'm going to place my arms next to my ears, and once my arms rest vertically along my ears, we're going to push on our feet to stand up. We make sure we're standing properly. I check the distance between my feet to ensure my balance, and at this point, I'm going to raise up on my toes and open my arms. We're going to start by balancing our brain's right and left hemispheres and wake up a vital fluid through a posture which comes from Indian, Tibetan, and Chinese yoga called the crow. To correctly assume the crow position, it is useful not to use either brute force or physical strength. We're going to search for the point that is our center of gravity. To do so, we're going to raise our arms inwards and place our elbows beneath our knees. Once in position, we're going to balance ourselves, resting our weight upon our knees and looking at the floor without forcing anything. We're going to raise our feet from the ground, bring them together, resting on our hands and breathing gently from this position. We're going to rest the balls of our feet on the floor and sit upon our heels. Once seated upon our heels, I bring together the palms of my hands, which I turn towards myself. I lower my chin towards my chest, and I'm going to use the force exerted by my elbows on my knees, and that by my knees on my elbows, to exercise isometrically. This creates contrasting forces on my knees and elbows, and I'm going to feel that force in the palm of my hands. Once in position, I'm going to warm up my neck several times, creating a swaying motion from left to right as I try to maintain some degree of tension. I breathe in as I look backwards. I turn and breathe out in the center. I keep turning my head and breathe in again, looking over my other shoulder. I do this several times. When I feel good, I return to the center, keeping my chin to my chest. I turn my hands towards my chest and I exercise them several times isometrically. We do so upon inhaling, as we do upon exhaling. I inhale and tense. I exhale and relax. Or I also inhale and relax and exhale and tense. I can do whichever I prefer. Once done, I should notice that my hands seem to want to raise upwards themselves. Once my hands stop lifting, I'm going to place them carefully along my ears, and I'm going to push against my feet to stand up. Let's begin with the crow position. We make sure to be well positioned with both hands on the floor so we can place our arms inside our knees. Our knees rest against our elbows, and we move smoothly as we look for our center of gravity without exerting ourselves, and we raise up into position. We let our head hang, releasing all tension from the back of the neck. We breathe gently and let ourselves hang. I'm going to feel all the forces coming towards the palm of my hands and forearms. I breathe several times from this position, and very slowly we relax and rest our feet on the floor. First the balls of our feet, and then our heels. Once in this position, we bring our palms together, one against the other, and from this position, we can begin with a very interesting exercise called isometric muscle work. Why? Because I am able to direct a force inward with my knees, and at the same time direct a force outward with my elbows. I'm going to work my muscles isometrically, paying special attention to my spine's movements and my breathing. Once I've done this several times, I bring my chin towards my chest, and I'm going to warm up my neck very gently from right to left, inhaling as I look right, and I exhale, tensing the neck, and we look left as we inhale. We do this several times. We return to the center, and here we slowly bring our palms together and we point our fingertips upwards. We're going to feel our hands raise by themselves. They raise on their own with no effort. I place my arms alongside my ears, and very slowly we stand up. We breathe smoothly, we settle into the position, we feel good. We're going to mark a point and raise ourselves up as we push with the balls of our feet. In the crow position, what's important is understanding that we don't need strength, and we come into contact with our center of gravity and a feeling of relaxation. Frank is going to demonstrate a tense crow position. As you can see, he's holding his head high and looking upwards. His neck is stretched. Now, the correct position consists of totally relaxing the head and holding this position. Now we're going to move down as we exhale. We breathe in and out. I breathe in and I close my thighs. I open my mouth as I lean my neck back and breathe in. I breathe out. We relax. I inhale. I do this 3 times. When finished, we place our feet together, one against the other. I open my arms and exhale. I breathe in and out. I relax my body. I do this 3 times. Inhale. Exhale. Now we're going to move to the second part. We're going to study the breathing of the lotus flower. I'm going to try to demonstrate it. This breathing method enables us to connect to the sky and the earth, and, above all, to open up our body's different spiral energies. To start out, we keep our arms lowered against our body and we roll our hands as if we were spinning a sphere. We're going to separate our sphere, turn our hips, turn our torso, raise the palms of our hands towards the sky, and very smoothly bring our hands together above. Once my hands are touching each other, I'm going to lower my center of gravity, close my knees, and go down as low as my body permits. I relax my head. When I've gone as far down as I can, I turn my body, looking at the palms of my hands. I move them, bringing the palms of my hands to my hips, and join my 2 pinky fingers. I shoot my lotus flower towards the sky, and I bring my hands into a praying position with my arms flat against my ears. I close my thighs and throw my body upwards. I raise up onto the balls of my feet. I rest my heels on the ground. I exhale. I close my wrists. I push outward from each side. I relax my elbows and exhale. I inhale. I open the palms of my hands. I exhale. I relax my center of gravity. I relax my head. I open my elbows and begin again. I inhale. Exhale. Inhale. The lotus flower transforms. I inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Pay attention. I stretch forward. I stretch backward. My body turns. I bring my body back to its center. My 2 hands come together. I am totally aligned according to the earth and the sky. Exhale. I inhale. Exhale. I inhale. Exhale. Inhale and close. After repeating the exercise 3 times, I move on to the recovery phase. All my attention centers on what I feel inside. I am completely isolated from the outside. I concentrate on my breathing, on the sensation of upward and relaxing movements of my breathing, which reaches down to my feet. Inhale and close. After repeating the exercise 3 times, I move on to the recovery phase. All my attention centers on what I feel inside. I am completely isolated from the outside. I concentrate on my breathing, on the sensation of upward and relaxing movements of my breathing, which reaches down to my feet. The chain of events in the power of the dragon, or Qi Kung of inner peace. The dragon emerges from the water. The sparrowhawk springs onto its prey. The crane beats its wings. The tiger opens its jaws. The bear looks towards the sky. The praying mantis envelops its prey. The monkey prepares to climb. The elephant lowers his trunk. The eagle observes all. The dragon beats its tail. Chris and Frank are going to demonstrate the power of the dragon, or Qi Kung of inner peace. They're going to perform the routine for 20 minutes. 2 rules must be kept. Never break your concentration, and never stop your routine. You can choose to remain static, or to remain moving, or to explode, or to scream. But you can't stop the routine. Whatever happens, even if you make a mistake or think you will, you must be absolutely sure that you never stop the routine. I keep on even if I don't want to, because not wanting to is our ego, not the energy of movement. I should accept being what I am, and I am as I am for 20 minutes. Now, smoothly, recovery. We take in oxygen. We breathe smoothly. What did you feel during the 20-minute routine? During the 20-minute routine, what happens is that to be able to ingrain the routine, many mistakes are made because we always want to do it better. At some point, if we're able to forget, for me it's a type of mantra. At some point, if we're able to forget, for me it's a type of mantra. Something that's repeated and repeated and repeated until the time comes when the movements are performed before I do them. That's what I feel. And while relaxing, a calmness appears within. And now how do you feel? Relaxed. Thanks. Now, Frank, do you have anything to add to what Chris said? Something like Chris, effectively a great number of mistakes are made because we always want to be better. However, if we fully relax, a type of magic appears and the forms and movements happen almost by themselves. What happened to you in this 20 minutes? Did you come into crisis with yourself? Yes, that's just how I'd say it. It's more a question of ego than anything else and not being able to perform as I'd like. Does that mean fighting against yourself? Yes, something like that. At least the mental part. Fights within yourself between that little devil who's there and wants you to do better and the other who tells you that if you relax, everything will be fine. And that's the truth. If you let yourself be influenced by the second of those voices, everything flows and everything goes well. The conflict is placed aside. More than letting them fight between themselves, we let them go. Now I feel very good. Thanks, Frank and Chris. With Chris's help, we're going to demonstrate other important parts of the choreography of the dragon's power. For the first position, which Chris is now in, the objective, the feeling or goal is to forget about our body. Forget about our physical body. We're simply going to feel the weight on the soles of our feet, and the rest of our body is going to disappear. We're going to try to be as light as a feather and pose or be in harmony with our center of gravity. Once I've managed this, I enter a state called alpha. My tongue is against the roof of my mouth, my jaws are closed. I'm in a stance of neutrality. Chris will now move to the second position. The dragon rises up from the water. In this stance, the most important task is exerting two isometric forces between our heel and the top of our head, and between our fingers and the palm of our hand. The foot is very important. Look well at the axis of the foot, the axis of the hips. Observe the position of the backmost foot, an almost straight line, and observe the correct alignment from my stance. An almost straight line between the heel and head. Now, Chris is going to turn his hand. He turns his hand to develop the sensation of grabbing. Now he's going to move at his own pace to the sparrowhawk stance. In this stance, our goal is to place the palm of our hand so that it protects our face. Along our shoulder, and far away enough from our face to block a blow. Next, our center of gravity lowers beneath our knees. I try to keep my back straight, and to do so, I lean forward a little. Now, Chris will pass to the third position, the crane. In this position, my hand is aligned, my elbow loose. This hand is placed near the stomach. I try to align this hand with my direction. I have between 60 and 70% of my weight on my back leg. My front leg is slightly bent, and I'm well settled. Now Chris will take on the tiger position. In the tiger position, the most important thing is the heel and the head. What's important is that your whole body is aligned from the heel to the top of our head, as if it were only one line, as if it were an arrow. The palm of the tiger is really concentrated, and this lower hand should protect the elbow joint. Chris will now move to the position of the bear who protects. In the bear position, the hand will protect us from the sun. Our topmost hand protects Chris's view from the sun. The other hand is normally directed towards our adversary, towards the opponent, or towards the adversary. The third aspect is you should notice his elbows are aligned with his knees. His shoulders are aligned with his hips. Chris can now move to the next position, the praying mantis. For the praying mantis, I'm going to try to raise the hands a little. Here, the same happens. I feel a force in all of my body. I pay attention to the palm of my hand. The palm of my hand should be sideways and not flat. Now, smoothly, I'm going to turn my foot to place it behind my knee slowly. Now, observe his center of gravity. His center has changed. Now, the position of the monkey who climbs the tree, who's preparing to climb the tree. The foot rests on something invisible. His hand is protecting his forehead, his other hand directed towards his opponent. Now the position of the elephant who lowers its trunk. I lower the foot and I lower the hand. Gently I turn my head and I change position. In this position, the most important thing is lowering our legs and to sway our hips gently in order to have our back almost straight. Above all, the height of our waists. This part here, it should be straight. And to do so, we lower our legs. From this moment on, how can we know if it's straight? Because my breathing goes down towards my stomach. I bring my hands together. Smoothly, I raise my knee, and we move into the dragon position. Now, Chris needs to throw his head forwards because he gains power. If he does not move his head towards me, he cannot apply force. Now he's moving in with power. If he doesn't lean in with his head, there's no force, and I will be the one who pushes him back. Now, there's nothing I can do. He's entered with force. Now, Chris regains his position, neutral, and has no sensation in his body. Have you seen the exercise we've just done? Everything was done statically, position after position. But we can also do so in movement. In this position, I'm going to enter into a phase of total relaxation. That's why it's called the Cadaver position. I'm going to let go of my physical body, leave it on the floor. My 2 feet are completely stretched. My wrists are stretched and face down. The palms of my hands are directed towards the sky, and with my mouth, I breathe out. We fill our mask with our exhale. The sound that we make comes from our solar plexus. We should not force the sound. This way, we don't pay attention to the naturalness of the sound or the repetition of the sound. The sound will disappear by itself. The dragon emerges from the water. The sparrowhawk springs onto its prey. The crane beats its wings. The tiger opens its jaws. The bear looks towards the sky. The praying mantis envelops its prey. The monkey prepares to climb. The elephant lowers his trunk. The eagle observes all. The dragon beats its tail.